Hello and welcome to episode 22 of our Timberborn 1.0 Waterbeavers playthrough cycle 21, day 9. And as always, start of every episode we must replace the 3 paths here for some unknown reason. But that's okay, because now that's taken care of. Somebody did leave a comment on the last video asking to check and see if anything else had been automatically removed. But it has not, because the game gives you a pop-up and tells you exactly what was removed. And it said path, parentheses, 3. So that's those 3 pieces of path. But I digress. We've got a lot to talk about today. So many things to take care of, as we always do. But I did want to immediately address that, yes, the placement of these is objectively pretty stupid. I don't really know why I stuck these in here. But they're in here for now, and I'm not going to delete them until I have something better in place. I just wanted to make sure we're safe on that. But I do think I agree with most of you guys about what we want to do over here, which is, I don't know why that was so suspenseful, go ahead and get these connected with a tunnel here, and then sent somewhere else, like very easily, just drained off on this side. We can block this in. It doesn't have to be anything super complicated. We just need to do something. So, to that end, just 2 tunnels here is going to be very easy for us to do. And then probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, thumb war, etc. That was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then, oh, look how close we are to coming out right here. Why don't we, in the interest of doing something that doesn't look complete... Oh, look at this! This drains here, too. Let's just do that. So that can drain. Or we can go on this side. No, we'll go on this side. That's fine. Just make it a little easier here. We are going to have to give these guys a way to get back in, which, of course, probably makes the most sense to do this. Just connect it right like that. Remember that these do have somewhat of a steep-ish cost because of the amount of logs required. But when we go back to remove the platforms and stuff, we will get a bunch of materials back, so it ends up being fine. So we're going to let them get to that. Yes, that's very loud. All these lumberjack flags can go away. Thank you for reminding me about that. And that will give us a little bit more of a reprieve on our employment numbers. I also didn't necessarily do exactly the right thing with the placement of some of these things, but at this point it probably doesn't matter that much because they can still get to most, not all, but most of the scrap in here. This is going to be the next frontier for all these guys, and of course we have all these we can minimum prioritize, which we already have. I'm just, you know, I honestly have no clue what I was thinking with this, just to be perfectly upfront with you. It's kind of like that panic thing. You're like, oh, we got to do something. The better place for one of those to go is very obviously over here. It's just going to be one of those things I've got to take a second to figure out how I want to do. I didn't want to put the powered one in because I don't have any power coming through here, but we have the bigger water wheels now, and this generates, you know, a non-insignificant quantity of power, should we choose to harness it effectively. 108 HP here. Is there anywhere I can go more than 108? Up here it was 89, but that's because there's nothing to stand on this. What if I were to put in a platform? They can't reach into this, so it's fine to mess around. 89. Okay, so that obviously is not the best option. This underground ruins here is actually a pretty good location relative to most of what we're looking for, because it's got a geothermal field here. I haven't looked at this area very much. 700, oh, I don't have 700 science, so I guess that solves that problem. But just know, I am aware of this. I am thinking about what I could possibly do to make this slightly less terrible. But in the meantime, it is not going to be super difficult for us to just put in a building here that works as a levee. And maybe, depending on how we want to roll this, put in a tunnel as an access thing. I don't want to block this off. I gotta hide this. I don't want to block this off too much, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? I know this is bad. We're going to fix it. For right now, this is what I got, so it's what I'm doing. But we will get there in due time. Okay, working on this. I'm going to go ahead and get that removed and that removed, and we have all these things we can pick up off the ground, except the waste rock, which I do not care about. The only other thing we have to do over here is hide these entrances, which we could do with levee buildings. We could do with the actual levee items themselves. But we can't put the... Wait, what? Seriously? It shouldn't be letting me do that. I thought it had to be at the same height. Well, anyway, I know I could do this if I unlocked the taller levee, but now I'm very curious. Is it going to let me... Can it let me do this? Like, I feel like there's no reason it should allow me to do this. Well, we're going to try it anyway, because that's the water beaver's way. On to the next stupid thing I did. So, apparently, you're not supposed to do this like this. You're supposed to actually have the automation things. Not the depth sensor, that's a bad example. The resource counter face the outside. Okay, it doesn't work there because I put the path there, but you're supposed to have this face the outside and then connect a path, well, outside. Instead, I did this. So, it's not an issue right now, but when the time comes to rearrange things, if the time comes to rearrange it, then that is, in fact, what we have to do. We can put platforms here, for those of you who are curious. I believe that is exactly how this is intended to be used, based on this having a ladder here, and also directly by the mod creators saying, hey, why'd you do that? I didn't think anyone was ever going to do that. You know, that's a fair point. It'll get better. But they are, hopefully, before we get a badtide coming in, can get that in place. Looks like they are building this, which is a big surprise. I did not think that was going to work. Okay, what else to discuss? I have talked about so many different things. These covered walkway stair bits apparently do not grant a bonus, like these do. So if we want there to be a bonus, besides these just looking cool, then we need to put in one of these guys. So I will, I'll put one here. That seems fine. It's going to be close to the zipline station, and they're going to have to walk through that anyway. There are a couple other places where I did that, and I need to check. This I'm not worried about because I already have the one that has the aesthetic thing right here. But if I wanted it to apply to this, then actually, let's check the range on this. Okay, it's just directly underneath, so it doesn't matter. This one, being a mini, and being the one that these guys would have to go through, probably should get replaced. Honestly, I think it's okay. Just, it's good to know that that's wrong, but I'm not incredibly worried about it. Alright. Day 11 coming up soon. Are we going to get a warning? That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? No? Okay. Put that back on single speed. Next thing to discuss, putting a, instead of a valve house, putting in a floodgate dam, which was my original goal, but I did not have that unlocked. I wonder if I could build this before the next bad tide. Well, currently it is a good tide, and I'm trying to reduce the amount of beavers I have unnecessarily, so we're going to take care of that. I'm going to come back in here and remove these because I do not want these to be, you know, contributing to the downfall of Beaver Society. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to place this so they can't go anywhere else. This is going to have to be automated to Bad Gary. So that is going to go in there. When Bad Gary is off, this is also off. When Bad Gary is on, this is also on. Easy. Is it a little bit expensive? Yeah, kind of. But it doesn't have population, and this is what I was always wanting to do anyway. So there will still be a little bit of bad water that accumulates in here. That's just how it goes. But it's all right. It'll get flushed out eventually. We can do the same thing over here, except I will have to, well, you know, this is actually probably fine at this point for me to just leave this here or replace it with another type of, I almost said opaque, that's for light, waterproof building. but I do, for the time being, still like the idea of being able to put clean water in here if I need to. Oh, look at that. It's like a complete straight line there. Oh, so many things I keep forgetting that I have to check on, and a lot of these are empty. Sunflower oil is empty because... Screw press axles. That was something people were telling me about last time that I did not take care of. And I'll let you figure out why. It's that the log gnawing station is... I said I'd let you figure it out, and then I told you anyway. What am I doing? Not only is it automated, it's not even set to make screw press axles, and we've been out for a while. So we have a couple options. We can either rebuild another log gnawing station, or, if I can remember where that building is, there is a thing called the assembly line. There it is. 800 science, so we cannot unlock that right now, but it does make screw press axles in only 10 hours. But you have to have drill bits, and I do not have drill bits currently. So the easy way to, I shouldn't really say solve this problem, but the easy way to temporarily make this problem less terrible is to build another log gnawing station and set it to screw press axles. Sawdust probably isn't that big of an issue to have this permanently assigned to whatever, but it's already set up, so I'm not going to do anything about it, and this is cheap to build. That should be fine there. We've got extra beavers. How are we doing on this? Okay, making good progress. Let's remove these supports. They can gather the other materials, and I will have to put in a couple more pathing tiles to make sure they can actually get to the rest of this. Yeah, let's do that. And, you know, I'm kind of surprised that they let me build this, but it's built, so that's fine. As soon as this is taken care of, I will have to, you know, just deal with this draining early until I can put this other levee in. But that should effectively solve our problem. Unless the flow is too great and comes out the top of this, I don't think that's going to be the case. We will keep monitoring the situation. All else equal, having this many florists is probably overkill. But we do need to feed the rope maker, which that is the thing that I put over here. At some point, we'll need to have a lot of ropes, and I'd rather just have the stock built up and not have to worry about it. I have 122. My storage is full, so we should probably come over here and put in some more storage as one does. I'm beginning to wonder if I should start putting little storages underneath all this. I'm not really sure I want to, but for right now, we can always tear it down and rebuild it later. I mean, it's not the end of the world. So I will, yeah, 648 storage is probably a little bit too much for ropes. But we probably could do well to continue putting other items that may be using smaller storages near here in there that would help us out. So what can I do that with? Well, really nothing over here. Okay, so maybe that was a bad idea, but we do need more storage. Rice ball storage? Because I do want to get rid of these pit and ladder lodges. We really don't need these. So maybe the rice balls would be a good candidate for this. There they are. Okay. Speaking of storage, I was very politely informed that I set this to rice instead of sunflower seeds, so, you know, that was not the correct answer at all. So it's fine. They're going to get it taken care of. All right. Progress is still being made here. I think they can reach the rest of this without me putting another piece of path in, but we will see. Did they? They did. Okay. This is waiting. Oh, I might have made a mistake. I forgot about tar being the absolute mortal enemy of this playthrough. Well, this needs... oh, it needs sunflower oil. Where's my sunflowers? Where's my sunflowers? I don't have sunflower seeds. And not only do I not have sunflower... Oh, I do have sunflower seeds. Ha! Why am I like this? Screw press axles. Anything else use screw press axles? Alright, you know what? I know I said I was automating this, but we can't afford to wait any longer. I just have to get this going. Okay, let's get this on triple speed, because we could get a bad tide warning It would be deeply funny if it happened at the start of day 12. We could get one very soon. Let's see. What else? What else? I do want to see if this is going to be a drought or bad tide on day 12 first, and then... Okay. This area over here that I had complained about drying out when this got pumped down, had a couple people suggest ideas. One of them was putting in a fluid dump irrigation area up here, but what we could also do, since we have these tunnels, is come down here and build into the cliff with tunnels, make a little chamber like right at the corner here, and that would actually do a pretty good job of irrigating. This is 2 deep, right? It's actually still 1 deep for almost all of this. So I guess it doesn't matter. We could do a couple different places. But I do want to let them finish these tunnels first. And then maybe we can think about that. I did want to bring it up, though, just in case I forget to do it in this video. You do know that I acknowledged it. And at some point you can remind me to do it if I do not do it today. Otherwise, things are going pretty well. This methane engine is not connected to the power network. You are correct. Connecting across here is going to be kind of a pain, and I know we're in the process of getting this figured out. I was trying to get these ruins removed so I could put a, not a factory, it's a workshop. Workshop over here. We will get there in due time. But it looks like I am full on scrap metal, which isn't necessarily a huge problem because they're going through this. As you know, just takes time for them to get that taken care of. So yeah, a lot of problems because I failed to recognize what I was doing with that, but is what it is. We will, we'll get that figured out. That seems to be doing okay there, pushing water this way around. Coming through these wheels, which are making, wow, pretty healthy, 250 each, since this got dammed up. But, like I said earlier, a lot of this water is about to go away as soon as this gets opened up. We'll just have to be quick about fixing that. Yeah, you know, I really do want to get the assembly line going. We just can't quite do it yet. We have, I think, most of the stuff with the exception of gears. Obviously, gears need to be made faster, but is what it is. They will eventually get caught back up. There's a couple buildings that are using the gears. I didn't think it was like a crazy huge issue right now to be that worried about. And I already forgot what those buildings were. That's not great. Well, anyway. We have this area here that has nothing on it, and I asked what you guys would maybe want to see done, and somebody suggested we plant more chestnut trees on here, which I think is a splendid idea because they will grow there. The issue is I don't have a forester nearby, and, well, technically I do, but we can't reach over here. So we would have to build one, and I don't know that I can build one of those in the water and have it work. But it's only 25 logs, and I got a bunch of them, so who cares? Let's put that there. I am going to keep this path coming straight through because that's a very good shortcut. And, like I said, this can still reach just fine. So, chestnut, chestnut, chestnut. Put the trees there. We don't have to remove any berries for it, because we, you know, surprisingly are out of berries, despite having all of these. Probably should expand our berry production at some point, but there's a lot of things we have to get to. We'll check and see if this has been planted in a little bit. Getting closer here. Not only do I want to make sure this water doesn't completely all go away, but I want to recover as many of these things as possible. As long as this is just waste rock on the ground, I don't care. Okay, the rest of these, they'll grab those. They're pretty good about that. We'll know that that's been connected when all this water just immediately disappears. We should put some more tanks in here. Again, that takes tar, which we do not have because we do not have sunflower oil because we do not have screw press axles. But they are working on it. That one's at 23%, that one's at 43%, so our suffering will not be that much longer. Yeah, we just have to make another 67 tar before we have the next bad tide. Or a lot of stuff is going to go very, very poorly. Is that even possible on a 3-day timer? Okay, so divide that. We'll call that 25 cycles at 5 hours each. I don't think the answer to that question is yes. Oh man, what else is using tar? Now, there is a very good mod called Tool Finder that I did just now reinstall. and you can type in stuff here, but it unfortunately doesn't show you recipes right off the bat. It just shows you which buildings use or make them. So I typed in tar. I've got this building that makes it. Billboard says how not to starve, a trading balloon that gets us tar with white paws if we give them paper. But I guess maybe I could build one of these, but it's still going to take almost 3 days to get 20 tar, so that's not really a great solution. Rudimentary sawmill does not actually do anything with tar. Or is that... No, there's got to be one of these that has tar in like a string anyway. Okay, yep, that takes tar, or is it because it takes tar to build? I can't read. No tar to build. Well, anyway, you can see what I'm talking about here, that it shows you stuff. It's very helpful, so thank you, Norman, for doing that. Sorry I keep forgetting about things, but that is back in installed, so we can actually make use of it. That guy's got nothing to do. That is still there. Let's get rid of this lumberjack flag. We can do plenty of other stuff up here. If we can manage to keep this mostly clean and not poisoned, we can grow trees. I don't know that we're going to have to do that. See, these are using sawdust, which, you know, isn't presently a problem, but it could become one depending on how things escalate from here. Is that really only 51%? Yikes. I guess that's what happens when I leave it on one-time speed, huh? Wow, you know, I didn't think this was going to work, but they're planting chestnut trees. Hot dog. You know what? We could, if we were real nasty, we could... Why did I say that? We could put tunnels here and then get back a couple spots, but I don't think we need to worry about it that much. If anything, I should be planting more berries. I've got tons of cabbages, so why don't we check our range? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's going to be a fun thing for us to deal with. Because this one also can't reach any more of these cabbages. But I am going to take all these out because they're not being actually used. Eventually, these can either grow into the rest or we can hurry up and plant some here. I could also put a staircase there. It might solve problems. Alright, there we go. There we go. This has been irrigated, and it's very soon going to be sending water out. So let's get these guys collecting all of this stuff if they can. They've already gotten most of it. That is in range. Fantastic. So now all we got to do is watch this come out, and then all of our water goes bye-bye just as soon as that happens. But let's have these guys super prioritize getting all of this picked up. All the things that matter. Logs and coal probably don't need to really be that worried about, but you know, every little bit does matter to a certain extent. And it's not currently a drought or a bad tide warning, so I'm not super pressed about it. We are going to get that fixed ASAP, though. Yeah, I just want to get the most valuable stuff back. It's just these two, pretty much. And unfortunately, I can't start... Why did I ever turn this off? I can't start putting this levee thing in here until they are done, because that's going to cut off the paths. I guess if I really wanted to be kind of dumb, I could put ladders in this hole, but we don't want to be dealing with that. Yeah, it should pretty much be the only one. Yeah. Okay, all the rest of this garbage, probably fine. We'll come back to this in a little bit. The water level hasn't gone as down as hasn't gone as far down. Not as down. That's not how that works. Come on, screw press axles, please, and thank you. Yeah, this scrap is not going as fast as I thought it would, but we already knew that. Metal blocks are being stored. I do have extra storage. Good. I always forget what I do. Anyway, let's check this again. It looks like we are now able to get this taken care of. So let's do that. Put that there. They should still be able to reach that. That is not something that we cannot build. And that will make this area, well, at least from this direction, pollution free. I am aware that there are still other drains like here. so on and so forth. But these aren't going to be as simple to deal with because they are in the middle of this and there's nowhere for me to dump that nasty stuff. So those would have to be potentially blasted down here and then tunneled straight off the side of the map, or we have to just sacrifice this whole area. But this area here is not going to be making it any worse, and a little bit of progress a little bit at a time is better than nothing. This one's been dealt with. Like I said, we have those two. There is one here. That's going to be just straight poison. And then I thought there was another one, but I was probably wrong. Good news, though, is that this will be clean, pushing most of that through here. Ideally not through here, because this is where we pump from, but you know how that goes. Everything you think you don't want to happen ends up happening anyway, because that's just how the world works. Still no screw press axle. Come on. Surely you're done. 90%. All right. Well, a promise is a promise. Let's come over here, since we have the ability and we know this works. Did I? Okay, I did. Good. Let's just make this simple. So this is already behind here. Let's... Oh, I can't even get a beaver back there because the thing's in the way, but that's not that big of a deal. I can always move that. This will probably be the shortest path to go here, this 8. And that's, mostly in the corner. That should be alright. I don't know how much it's going to irrigate, but honestly, it's probably fine. Let's just remove this real quick and replace it with a slightly relocated version. That's not going to fit there. All right, that's fine, is what it is. So they'll do that. Shouldn't have to babysit that too much. This is still not built, by the way. But it's almost done. They just have to get everything completed. And that should be one of the first things they do at the start of day 14. And what else? What else? I know I'm trying to get these to get taken care of. I guess I'll just... I was trying to avoid doing this, but... So just build another large pile. They're cheap. I can always... you know what? I always forget to copy the settings from buildings. Look, old habits die hard. That'll get built. Alright. Triple speed. Is there anything else I've missed that is necessary to not miss? Probably not, based on my notes. Okay, that's taken care of. That's fine. As long as they are blasting this, which we'll come back and check on that at some point later. This will turn mostly green. We do have the rice ball storage there. Let's go ahead and start emptying this. I know it's not going to completely fill it up. But cereal bar storage. Do I have... No, I do not have any other storage for cereal bars outside of where they are made. Which, not the worst... rice ball storage here, of course. That's a great spot. Not really. Okay, they're not grabbing these. That's all right. We're not mission critical on this, but like I said, I want to get rid of these because they aren't really doing us a ton of good. It was mostly just a cheap way to get larger storage before we had the platforms unlocked, which, by the way, we do have double platforms we can unlock if I didn't want to use the science for something else. I think the way that this has gone so far probably should be focusing more on improving some of the actual technology things versus this. But we can always get more science. We just have to be able to, have stuff set up properly. Like with here, the library is, guess what? Running out of berries. And we don't really have a better way to, make science that does not involve berries at the time being, unless we change some of these other things around. Yes, I don't really want to just research stuff for the sake of getting... yeah. Well, is what it is. We'll get there. Can't keep the paper thing paused too long. But for right now, it being paused is fine. They've planted all these, so I will hit pause on this forester. It is not a levee, so it can be paused. Well, the building's a levee, but it's not being used as a levee. Okay, they've come through here. There is no further greenery, so maybe it is an issue of it has to actually be this close here and then also expanded. There is a possibility that this just doesn't work like how I thought it would, and I'm just doing it wrong, or it could just have to be 3 by 3 first. Like there has to be a way for me to do at least another one of these things without it being a big deal, because I just have this one's already taken care of. These are outside our area. It's just these three. This one here is not that far from the outside world, so if I want to do where it cannot become an issue, I would come down here, and then I would do this. Yeah, that doesn't show up as a problem. Then that would go there. Actually, this doesn't have to be a tunnel. Just 1, 2, 3. Triple dynamite, which I do not have unlocked because that was going to cost more science. I don't necessarily want it to be a 4 deep. Well, it's only 30 science. All right, I can do 30 science to have the triple dynamite. That's useful. Get that blocked off. That would actually be a good use case for ladders to get all the way down there without having to build this crazy, stupid staircase. So, probably going to be the best way we can do this. We did talk last episode very briefly about doing a diversion here with a floodgate dam. But we do have to get up here to remove these trees, and this was one of those things that I was going to have them do, but they can't reach any further than that. Also, there is a blueberry bush right at the top of the stairs that is super in the way, so let's just come over here, and then we can use the power of lumberjack flags to start tearing down some trees. I guess I can put 2, because why not? These are already marked. Like I said, we will have to, put in something to raise the water level above here, or just blast this off, and then any water is just going to fall off the end, because in water beavers, the only flood control structure that you have is 3 by 3. There's no 1 by 1 floodgates or any of that, so that's going to be what it's going to be. That's connected. They'll take care of that. Now, is there any green whatsoever? There is no green. That is unfortunate and honestly kind of disappointing. I really thought this was going to work, because I've done something similar to this in an older version of the game. I think it was update 6 or update 7 when we played Ember Pelts. I know I did this a bunch. Well, we'll see what happens. It's not over till it's over. Triple speed this through the night here. Rice ball storage is actually almost empty, and cereal bar storage, now that it's set to 0, should be empty as well. And then we can get rid of both of these. That'll save us 6 beavers. And then we can start getting rid of these as well. Now, we don't have to, remove this link here, but since we have the power of zip lines, it seems like it would make more sense to utilize that. But I don't have a good connection thing here. We'll just leave the stairs in place. Okay, well, I'll let them wake up before I tear their house down. That's just common courtesy. Drought warning. Okay, let's do this. Let's get this disconnected first, because it's not going to let me remove this unless I remove the stuff that's on top of it. Goodbye, pit and ladder lodged with hauler and box storage. Goodbye, other pit and ladder lodged with hauler and box storage. And they can still come up the top here and grab those. There's no water in this one either. And this has 6 beavers in it. And now that we have large, or not large, but medium tanks, we don't need this either. So, take care of that. Oh, that beaver is still sleeping. Alright, well, unfortunate for you, I suppose. The Builder's Tower segment has a whole lot of inventory just kind of crammed in everywhere. I do want to keep this because builders are good. But that has reduced our total beaver capacity to about 268. Which is pretty good, I think. Do we have any beavers in jail? That could be throwing off our numbers. No, we do not. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Oh, there's green. There's green. Oh, yes. You know what that means, folks. It means it's time to do the thing. Let's give this a little bit more of a chance here. and just blow this out so it can hopefully give us a nice radius. Maybe get a couple of these things. And even if it doesn't get all of it, it's still more capacity to pump from later. So that is fine. Yeah, bad water production is still an issue. And if I had the ability to reconfigure this... Well, I mean, I always do have the ability. It's just how much time do I want to spend doing it, because this is a big building. And it has a power input on the back, so that is the worst possible spot for that to be for our purposes. Yeah, you know, I could put another one up here. I could put a couple of them in a line, actually, right like this. That would not be super hard. Well, for now, I think it's probably best to try to focus on doing that over here, which I know I've talked a lot about and did nothing. So, without making this unusable later, let's check. I always forget where this is. Alright. The elevator to the abyss cannot be built here because it's got too much stuff. Okay, we'll have to blast that out, but that is the clearance required, and it looks like, actually, this isn't going to be that big of a deal if I just put it in a spot like right here. So, doing that, and having it, say, like this, flipped over like that, is actually going to, if I blast a hole here, make it possible for me to use tunnels to get into this. So why am I so into these tunnels? I just think it's neat. I think it's objectively a really cool thing that you can do this. So let's be very careful about placement here, because this is going to be down to this level. That's what we're working on. I do not want it to flood with bad water, so what I can do... is there a convenient way to get down here? Because I know I'm going to have to not come through that. Honestly, this is excessive. I shouldn't be doing this. But I could put the tunnel full of clean water that connects to the doorway. That would be kind of funny. That comes here. I think at this depth it shouldn't matter to go... Yeah, it shouldn't matter to go down. Right next to it. So... Yes, I can already hear you guys in the comments saying that I am insane. I want you to know that I appreciate you. Your concerns are valid. And I will probably be ignoring them in this specific instance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. In this spot, I can use the 4. That will come down to here. I do not need to tunnel that. Instead, I can use very expensive ladders for a one-off thing, and then... actually, no, they have to be able to get down here, but... That is going to make this slightly less terrible to deal with. And in fact, depending on how I want to do this, during a drought would be a very good time, because then I could just build from the tunnel in. Yeah, because I think they should be able... Maybe they can't. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I don't need to complicate it. I just need to get them in here. Okay, what's going to be... No, I don't want to come across that way. I'll just build regular stairs. I do have to wonder sometimes what people think about my thought process when I'm making these videos, and I just have this stuff just come out of, like, nowhere as, like, a really dumb idea. Makes it more authentic, at least. Oh, no, that's a bad idea. I can't go down that way, because I don't have any way to get out. Okay, so that instead, coming down this way, I don't even have to do anything with that, because I can just make it on suspension bridge. Okay, I don't have those unlocked. The 4x, if I moved it one more out, would actually work. Alright. I'll play ball. So that will go... Yeah, that'll allow me to build all those. And... Okay, for kaboom. So now that goes down to the exact level I wanted. They can't reach that because they can't get down there. Oh, these aren't as expensive as I remember them being. Well, nowhere to go but down from there. This is... Oh, they haven't actually done anything yet because they can't reach anymore. Alright. Let's give them a hand, shall we? Get that taken care of. Should make this area a lot more green, and then by proxy this area down here also, I think, Could always be doing it wrong. That's possible. We have 54 out of 100 tar. Well, this one, this one's fine to not be finished before a drought. This, like I said, during a drought is probably the best possible time to be working on this. How can I get over here? Easiest way is probably going to be to just come across this side and send them down here. Probably no easy stair-step way. This doesn't count because you can't directly access this. Boy, are we doing a lot of stuff with stairs. Oh, you know what? Our old friend Spiral Stairs could be very good at taking care of this problem for us. So let's do just that. That will come in here. Get this connected to the path so they can actually do it. Alright, progress is being made. That's good. Like I said, drought, perfect time to do this. We cleaned that up. I said I was going to leave those. Now, water-wise, we're not looking tremendously great, but that is probably, you know, there's multiple reasons why that could be happening. They filled this up, and they still haven't gotten rid of this. Okay. No, we're just going to have just gobs of scrap metal storage that we're not... I did it again. That we're not doing anything with. Except, well, storing scrap metal. I just want this specific spot to be gone so I can do something else with it. Metal blocks are doing metal blocks activities. My balloon is accumulating sky exploration. I have 20 out of 100. It means I can probably start making more of these, but I want to be careful how I place them. This can actually... Wow! I was not expecting it to allow me to do this. Ignore the fact that the entrance to this is in the worst possible location if I did that there. Can I... Okay. We'll just do that. It's going to be the simplest way to do it. And the other balloons I was going to use are not researched. So, Folktales for the Seeds requires books, not the incredibly compact sets, as I was corrected on. But we can't make books unless we want to stop making science, but I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. Just want to make sure we want it to be the Folktales first and not any of these. We did talk about the tar being a pretty good recipe to get, since we have a decent amount of paper. But, you know, Folktales, it just needs to be what we're doing next. So, now my favorite game of trying to get this balloon in place has to occur. Okay, that didn't want to go there. For why? Oh, no, you know what? I bet there's collision on the balloons. Alright, let's, Wow, they didn't put a single piece of stuff anywhere, huh? Let's instead, you know, do this correctly. Come on, autosave. Thank you. Let's do this correctly, and thankfully we cannot accidentally do this wrong. Yeah, I can still build the power shafts through the other side. I'm just trying to avoid putting the doorway to this directly in front of the power shafts. Alright, gotta go back in here to the Folktales balloon. There it goes. Alright, so that's gonna be a big help. This is, wow, it's actually pretty green. Good job. And they're not even done yet. Good, good, good. Let's just start the process of getting these removed. No, not the path. Okay, well, I guess that's fine. I just want them to recollect all of these pieces. And last piece to explode in this area. Look at that. We got a lot of green. And in some respect, that has to help. Can't tell you exactly how much it will help, but it has to some degree. Alright, they have started building stuff there. They're working on this. We may be in for a pretty good improvement over here. I know this is far away, but it's better than nothing. And let's not forget, when we have the Abyss exploration in place, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of these recipes that will actually use badwater. Yeah, for the what brain boosting salts. Is that the only one? Well, that's fine. So there is actually a benefit to having that over here beyond just me trying to make the most insane solutions possible to everything. That being said, Badwater is going to be basically gone for a while. And we're not going to be able to make any more of these brain-stimulating mushrooms. Brain-boosting salts, I'm pretty sure we're not producing in mass quantities. But we are making some. There's no strong alcohol, so that's why that has been held up, and we do have Badwater in here. So I guess that's fine. Strong alcohol distillery is... oh, waiting on chestnut beer, and that's waiting on chestnuts with which to make more beer. Okay, well, you know, these do have to grow up. That takes time. Our favorite phrase. Yeah, these cabbages will get picked up eventually. It's not that big of a deal. Feeling pretty good about this. Honestly, the drought coming right now is probably one of the best things that could have happened in terms of getting this situated. We K for kaboom with that thing, and then, you know what? Let's move that to there, get that hooked up to a path. If we come down to this level here, which is admittedly maybe not quite low enough. Did I put a ladder on this level? I did, okay. Because I wanted to connect it to these two as well from the same thing. It's not that much longer. No, it's actually shorter to just go from here to here, but if I were to drain this, I'd have to be very careful how I did it. I have to put something here to keep this closed. You know, I guess it's not that big of a deal. I'll just have to spend a whole lot of resources building tunnels, and then that's not even the right thing. Then we can have discussions about my resource prioritization, but that's fine. Got stuff to do. How are we looking on this? Making... okay, very slow process, but that's okay. They haven't finished building this up because... why? This is... why don't you let me click? Okay. We are pretty far away. I think it would benefit us to have a local storage for some of the tunnel supplies. Like, for example, logs. And I forgot what the rest of the supplies are. Logs, dynamite, and fasteners. So, those two do not go in there. Mini crappy warehouse for the dynamite, and then... we already talked about hoodwinked before. I don't need to go on that diatribe again. What was the other one? What was the other one? What was the other one? Here. So that'll help. Let's take those there. And then the same thing on this side. Maybe not necessarily the best location for basically any of this, but it is what it is. And then I will put the pile for the logs here. Then we can put both of those here and here. Get those connected. Get these prioritized. And then I forgot to set those to obtain prioritize. And there we go. Triple speed that. We'll go back and fix the prioritization on these. Oh, I didn't super prioritize these. Okay, well that's fine. They will get to it. Won't be a big deal. 1 day left for the drought. We've got under 2,000 water still. Yeah, I wanted to increase the pumping over here, and I want to not use these if at all possible because that makes it harder to grow stuff down here. So we need to put in some more pumps, and I did talk about doing that with possibly the idea of moving these brambles back. They're flooded, so they cannot spread currently. So why don't we autosave? Why don't we do this? Let's move these back one more tile, and then I can put stilts underneath this, and we can extend one more, which is actually two more because we get the upgrade, and then I can blast this out right here, and then I can put two more of those. Just keep it all in a straight line, nice and simple. That will require that I remove the bridge and put in something they can actually, you know, attach to the side. But we can do it. Let's just get these taken out. Prioritize all that mess. They're getting right to work. And then, of course, when we put that in, I will immediately neuter these by putting in platforms, which is what we have to do anyway. You know, for all my talking, I'm still going to unlock that. It's the best thing to use in this exact scenario. It's fine. Not going to be that big of a deal. So we will have to, unfortunately, wait until all these brambles are removed to do that. But like I said, they're not gonna grow because it's currently in the flooded state anyway. Let's see. Still making screw press axles. I'm not going to change any of those for the time being. Talked about blasting into the geothermals. Just gonna get that taken care of. They still have not gotten these. Man, come on. It's like some of the last pieces remaining of this whole area. Oh, you gotta do better, man. Come on. Make it happen. No excuses. Well, we're about to have a drought, so I should, you know, maybe think a little harder about what I'm doing here. Oh, that's already at maximum height? Okay, that's fine. This will be... Yeah, this will be fine as it is. No need to worry about it in its normal mode, so the droughts are only every 9 days anyway. Should be okay. I would like for them to come and get rid of these things super fast, though. 6 days. We can do 6 days. No issues whatsoever. Just got to keep watch on this for a little bit, and then we'll go and do something else. I wonder if it would be worth trying to... No, you know, it doesn't all have to be in the same spot. We can place these in other spots around this area, too. It's not just this one... Not just this one place. Okay. Is there a reason you paused the game there? Nope. Force of habit. That goes there. The reason I got rid of that is so I could just immediately pop those in. I know this still has to go away so I can put the fourth one, but that is going to allow me to get started on doing all of our pumping. 10 science, yeah, why not? Might as well just go ahead and get this double dynamite over with. Let's just get both of those out because it looks a little bit better. And then we can start the process on putting in some more deep pumps. These take tar, which we don't really have a ton of. Okay, we're still working on that. Did they ever finish this? They did not. There's 7 tar remaining, so maybe I will hold off on putting the rest of those in. Making progress here. This could actually start planting some more... I forgot it requires the tree nursery. Ah! I always forget. Oh, I don't want foreign food. I do not want foreign food. Well, you know, okay, they can eat it, but I wasn't trying to send my pencil sets over there for it. Okay, you know what? I will let them do one batch of foreign food, and then we will swap it over to the thing. See, you always have to check and see what recipe it's set to, and I never do that. That's a very interesting flight path that doubloon just took. Sliding directly across. Okay. Please, for the love of all that is holy, get these ruins out of here. I am begging you so I could put anything in here. Alright. Oh, I'm going to have to come back and do that, and I am not going to remember. Is what it is. What was I doing over here? Oh, that's right. 52. Get that done. They bring this over here. And they are, and it is almost done. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now I can do this with absolutely no remorse. Put those in there. Put the upgrades in. Come on. Come on. There you go. Alright, so that's 4 more pumps with the addition of only 5 beds. Why did I say 5? It's 6. Okay. It's fine. This is ready to get kaboomed. We have 4.7 more days to get all... Wow, they actually... they've been busy. They've been putting in the work. Good job, beavers. Once again, selection has betrayed me. But that's okay. They should still be able to reach everything from here. I will put this back just in case, because we're also, you know, going to need it eventually later when we're actively connecting to this. Tunnel, tunnel, tunnel. Oh, I love tunnels so much. They are one of my favorite additions to this. How are we doing down here? Wow! Good job, beavers. You have done so well today. I'm so proud of you. Just don't get poisoned. Please and thank you. We still have plenty of that. Honestly, man, I'm feeling really good about this. And you know I normally kind of don't when it comes to a lot of things with this game. Okay, so we are going to have the small problem of how this is set up and have to go around, but not going to be that big of a deal. I don't think the flow through here is that violent for us to have to come in some other way. Is it worth having a thing blast out this way? Probably not. Because this has to connect here and here, and that will automatically take care of that. This, I otherwise wouldn't really want to put a tunnel in this way. But, you know what? No, we don't have to choose stupid. We can choose smart. Because they have path access here, and I can just put ladders and they can build it from both sides. Oh yes, I love it when I accidentally do something right. Okay. Why did I not think of this before? I'm sure some of you have ideas as to why that has happened, but I don't. What did I just do? Oh, okay, that's fine. It was already like that. I just need to make sure I can make this work. I don't know if 1 wide is enough for 3 of these in a badtide, but it is a start. Depending on how much stuff we have left, I know dynamite does take a while to get made, and we're going to burn through most of this pretty quick. I may just elect to double wide a bunch of this. And this, again, I don't want to cut through here because this is going to cut that way. So if I do need to double wide this to get out, then I will start running into some problems. But for right now, seems like we're doing okay. Did they get this cleared out? Oh, yes, they did. Finally! Alright, now I can come in here with the workshop thing. And then I do have to blast this out. I was going to go 1 more down on this side and then 2 everywhere else. As a reminder, I do need to go all the way out here because it has that overhang, and it may give me a little bit of grief around the exit path for the steam there. But we will see what happens, and I am going to have to get this also blasted out probably as a double, and then if I want to use stairs correctly, I can have that just go straight across here, and then that will be a curved stair. So this will get redone. It will not look completely stupid forever. Just so that's the wrong button. All on the same page. I want to get off at triple speed before bad things occur. Did this get complete? Wow. Man, these beavers have done such a good job. Give it up for the beavers. Truth be told, I'm not really used to water beavers not being an absolute unbearable slog for a lot of this stuff. I'm just happy things are working out. So that is indeed connected. We'll just go back to verify. Yeah, okay. Very good. Now the fun part is going to be getting the bad water stored somewhere. I think for now it makes sense for us to have a medium tank just here. Let's do that. Set that to bad water, and then I will extend the ladder because the ladders are not oppressively expensive like they have been in the past. And you know, this is going to be fine. It's going to be good enough for what we are doing. Now over here, they've almost made contact with the outside. They've somehow managed to do all of this without going down into the tunnel, which is impressive, if nothing else. And they still have not gotten rid of these stupid brambles. They did all of that without getting rid of the brambles. Alright, well, Why don't we just super prioritize both of those? Get these guys in here so we can actually make progress. Of course, I'll have to go back and check on that at some point in the future. This is still not connected because this is still not done. Come on with it, man. Let's go. Got these operating levels are getting a little low, but not the worst thing ever. So there is going to be something that has to happen here, and that is we have to have something blocking all of our clean water from going down the hole. This easiest way to do it is going to be to put in another one of those storage houses, but I don't believe the doorway can be 2 blocks underwater. So we're going to have to see. We are going to have to see what happens because, of course, you're going to finish that at 99% and leave, you cowards. I know I was just praising the beavers, 30 seconds ago, and now it's just like impossible to think they're doing anything good. Come down here. Done. Good, 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 good. I will tell you what. Let's get all of this completely cleared out. We'll pick those pieces up from the ground at some point. Get to work on extending this. Again, the jog is here because it has to be. Otherwise, I would have just gone that way, but the depth here was not going to tolerate that. I do want to try and use these storage houses because this is never going to get taller than 2 blocks because of geometry, and if it does, it can just flow over here and it's not going to be a problem. But I do need this guy to finish what he's doing so I can come back in with the ladder. And I guess I don't technically need that on that side since I already have all of that basically done. But hold on. Oh, I forgot to do this correctly. That does not need to be placed there. This has to be exploded. I forgot the most fun part, and that's blowing stuff up. Well, redo all of this. We are making such good progress this episode, folks. So, I'm glad to see that a lot of you guys really like the longer format, because, truth be told, I don't want to change it. Get these guys to keep working on this. But yeah, I really feel like for this, especially this series, okay. It just makes so much more sense to have this as an hour-and-a-half-ish by default. I'm not going to put ladder in this one because I don't need more than one. And honestly, if I were a little more patient, I wouldn't need any of these because they could just use the same one from before. But it's fine. We'll let them do what they got to do. Just continually keep tabs on how this is going. And as far as I know, this shouldn't have a high enough flow to outpace this single thing here. I already talked about double tracking, so to speak. This over here is going to be the more interesting thing because yeah, crate storage house honestly is kind of a great thing for us to put in here. It kind of is. And I would, I had a horrible idea I'll have to tell you about shortly. But I am just really, really interested in the possibility of exploiting this to the absolute limit. What about... Yeah, because I want that to be basically right on level, if at all possible. Yeah, that would be great, because I can use this. I don't have to have that match everything. Okay. Here is what is going to go down. Now, objectively, is this the best way to be going about building this in real life? The answer to that question is no. However, humor me. The dam on stilts does not care what is underneath it. Only cares... Oh, you're going to be so sorry that you're running across here if this one gets built first. It only cares what's next to it. And what's next to it is a... Oh, this guy's stuck. Nah, you're stupid. All I've got... Oh, never mind. That's not going to fit. What an unfortunate tragedy that is entirely preventable. Alright. Since I'm not a complete heartless monster, I am going to have to rescue you. Yeah, you know, I'm going to have to actually have this bridged for them to build this anyhow. All right, let's do the boring thing where the beavers don't get stuck, and we'll just wait. No. We can be faster. We can be faster and smarter by doing it this way and actually having it connected. And then we can actually, you know, use that for something later. Okay, so what's going to get stored here, you might be asking? Well, we needed storage for cereal bars, didn't we? And that is actually a pretty good food to have in other places. Why can I never find these things? There they are. So, how much storage do I have for these currently? 384, that is it. Okay. Well, say hello to cereal bar square, or whatever you want to call this over here. I am reasonably confident that this will not overflow in the event of a bad tide, but it does have to be built first. Alright, so let's Bad Gary automate this when Bad Gary is on. This is at 2 meters. If it's not, then it's not. You know what? I also forgot that I can't get into the middle of this without having direct access, so I will have to do probably from this side, just a thing there they can stand on. They'll get to that eventually. Let's check our area of flooding over here. Okay, they did, in fact, get that done. That's good. The work continues. I am very confident they can get this taken care of before the next bad tide. Put this in this way. Again, just continue to monitor it. Forget how to speak. That's definitely a good and safe thing. Okay, so this is working. It is connected. This is not flooded, importantly. Looking good. Looking really good. This is still not connected to power because why? Oh, no, that's not power warning. That's a water warning. But now we've got 15 pumps. I think, if I can count. Yes. Which is substantially more than we ever had down here. And there are 15 pumps that get every hour 4 units of water. So now we have... yeah, we got 60 water per hour. Probably still managed to do math wrong, but... K for kaboom. K for kaboom. Now it's time to see if this... okay, that doesn't work. How naive I was to assume this would be a simple task. I'm assuming that is about the smoke. Now, if I take this one out, is it going to let me do it? Well, it doesn't really matter that much. This is mostly just so I can have literally any amount of progress happening here. They can stand on the top of this thing and build both of these. That is fine, I suppose. What I should probably do... let's do that instead. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just at the mercy of the ramblings of an insane mind. This actually, before we build anything else, I may want to, if I want to put 2 of these here, that would be 4 to this, yeah. Then 4 to this would actually still fit here, mostly, if I moved it over. Let's do that. Let's redo this to face this direction, and then do a power shaft turn to go there, and then that means 4, and then the one next to it is going to require a upward T, yes, upward T here, and then a downward power shaft here. Actually, this doesn't have to be a vertical T. This can just be a downward power shaft also. Yeah. Yeah. And you might be asking, why don't you just do them all level at the very top and, you know, not the way that you've currently been doing it. Well, that's a very good point. I probably should have done that. But what I can do here is I can just get this connected here to here to here, and then come out for... you know what? We'll figure it out later. These power shafts are not so expensive that it's going to be impossible for us to have any amount of success doing any of this. But just for the sake of my own curiosity, take this out of triple speed. Is this why? Yes, okay. So, that means for this to be a viable thing, I'm going to have, well, not all of this in front being blasted out, but you might as well, right? Might as well. So let's do this. Same. And then I can also have ladders coming up and down this whole area too. That's going to make it a tiny bit easier. Alright, so that gives them projects. This is not connected here, but it's connected on a zip line, so it probably doesn't really matter. But I will put this across. That actually, you know, kind of fits a little nicely. Hey, remember when I said I wasn't going to let this be just foreign food? Okay, there we go. Now, you might be saying, why did you change that to the seed recipe when you don't have books? Well, we're about to have books. Now they can start making books. 1.3 hours per books. They finished this already. I think we talked about that. How are we doing on our excavation? Okay, that's a shadow. I thought I had accidentally broken through with that. No. Okay, this is going to cause problems. Oh, that's what I was... Oh, boy. I was going to check and see if I could actually, you know, block this with a crate house and it not complain about being flooded constantly. Okay, so this is done. Man, I'm getting into so many stupid situations here that are objectively dumb, but not that bad. And it makes me feel like I'm getting away with too much. This, hopefully, is not going to bite me in the butt. We will see. Yeah, I don't want to blast this down, but I should probably, for the sake of cleanliness, do that. Alright. So I know before they start placing this, I know, I'm making this so much worse than it has to be. It will not be bad forever. I'm just going to put these levees in here, and then that will force all of the water out this way, or if this gets raised, it'll go up and then off the side, and it should, in theory, retain minimal bad water. Not technically zero, because that's never how that goes, but it'll get us most of the way where we want to go. Still making some nice progress. We got materials to pick up. Waste rocks will be left to the earth because nobody cares about them until we have a catapult. Or is it a trebuchet? Is it actually a trebuchet or a catapult? I can't remember. Okay, it is a trebuchet. Good. 500 science. It no longer grants science. It used to. Which is unfortunate. I will say that when we have the big mines going, we do absolutely need to be collecting all of that waste rock. We cannot just let that expire on the ground. The only reason I'm doing this for the tunnels is because it is a waste product of deleting something and not a process that is actually, you know, core game mechanic. So they are out, which means they don't need to be working here anymore, so I'm going to super deprioritize it, which I already did, and take the workers down to 1. I would, you know, just get rid of this, but it's such a good hub, I kind of don't want to. Okay, it's time for a very dangerous explosion to occur. Okay, for kaboom. I made a mistake. This one does not need to be detonated because they can't do this yet. I hope I didn't set it off. Okay. Oh, good. That was going to make me feel kind of stupid. Alright. This is also going to require tar for some reason I don't remember. Oh, man. They can't reach this. Okay. Time to play the game. That somehow is worse. There we go. Get out of here. Get your balloon self out of here. Alright. Yeah, like I said, they need more dynamite, which I come to think of it. Don't know. Yeah, nitroglycerin is probably another casualty of one of these recipes with no sunflower oil. And that is because we are out of sunflower seeds. Well, that's an interesting problem to have because I did not think that was going to be that big of a deal. I've got sunflower seeds here. I'm going to pause this cooking tent just so I can get those sunflower seeds out of here. Also, we have plenty of food. So many interesting things are happening. I cannot forget that I've done that. Okay, library books. Why are we not making library books? Oh, are we finally out of paper? Yep. See, all these... I'm telling you, all these things happen at the exact same time. It never fails. Is it my fault? Yes. But it's still annoying when that happens. Alright. I think this amount of path should be sufficient for them to do the rest of what they need to be doing. This is where all the explosives have gone. I do recognize that, but all the things that can get picked up off the ground will have benefits elsewhere. I'm not feeling bad about any of this. Well, now that this has been blocked off, I'm just, you know what? No. I'm not going to get rid of them. I'm going to leave them here. But paused, even though they're underwater, they're not technically a house that is actually needs to be used. But why are they living here if this is paused? But they weren't living here because this one was paused. Is that just like a bug or something? Anyway, they're not holding back water. They're just underwater. So that seems like that's fine. If you disagree, and your name is, well, you know who you are, then let me know and I'll not do that. But this seems to be working out decently well here. That needs to be set to supply. Actually, you know what? I don't think it matters because we're not making nearly enough for demand anyhow. What else? What else? Oh, hey, me. Somebody said I should be making lotus flower tea because I have so many lotus flowers. Well, there is a, where is it? There is a reason I had not started doing that, and that is because I forgot. But now that, now that we actually have enough water, theoretically, to be supporting that, I am not opposed to doing it. We just have to find a place for it to go, which is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. But don't forget, we have the power of stacking things incredibly stupidly on our side. So, all I gotta do is just find something. See, I kind of don't want to do this because objectively it's really dumb. But at the same time, it's also really funny. So, metal cauldrons, I have... Wow, I have 11 of these? Sheesh. So we can be making both lotus flower tea and spicy soda, if that's what that's still called over here. It's actually kind of close to some of these other things. So, you know, there you go. This is... okay, it is a house. But it's not a bad house. It's just a house. What did I mean by that? Honestly, I'm not really sure. This would be a great candidate for ladders. Unfortunately, I already put stairs here, so I'm just going to leave that. Put this... You know, I bet this is going to turn into one of those things that I'm going to have to just rebuild every single time. Yeah, it is what it is. That's connected here. I do want them to have access to better storage, so maybe... Yeah, pile doesn't have one I can do as a covered thing, does it? Until I get to long, tiny piles or pit piles. This is a... oh, that one was... yeah. This one's funny. Here's what I'm going to do. I probably can't build anything else on top of this. So, what I think is going to make the most sense is to, instead of doing this way, I'm going to choose to be not quite as stupid about it and build ladders. Obviously, I can't put that one facing that way, so it has to go that way. And then on top of this, the game no longer has to be paused. On top of this, put in a path, which I am really hoping I don't have to rebuild this set of things every single time, but knowing how this game likes to do things, I imagine this could become an issue. So, what am I supposed to do about that? Alright, what we're going to do... Oh, it's already been an hour, 20 minutes. What we're going to do is we're going to build this. If the game chooses to delete it, then we will do it differently the next time around. But for now, I think this is really funny. So I'm going to commit to that. I will not, because of that, I will not put tanks up here. One, because tar is really annoying to get going without having a billion alchemists doing it. But assuming the game does not delete this upon reload, I will put tanks up here. Just know that that is what I'm attempting to do. Maybe it won't care because I did have these stacked. But I know there is something specifically with the T-Lodge and the terrace that causes stuff above it to sometimes have problems, and that is what this is doing. So enough of that. Let's check our progress again. Looking decent, but why? Too far from a district. I thought this was connected, or is this a thing where I didn't have... Because I didn't have it on top of the ladder. Are you kidding me? Alright. It's fine. It's fine. Don't get upset about it. Dynamite, dynamite, dynamite. Do I have a little baby dynamite here? No. I should probably have this be prioritized. And also... Okay, that one's already in place. Yeah, because I want this to be done. This is waiting on logs. How am I out of logs of all things? That's unfortunate. Okay, I need to be able to get into the front of this. Once again, you cannot build in front of this thing, but I can do that. Is it going to let me do a... I feel like I already tried this and it shouldn't let me do it. Yeah, I can't build multiple ladders in front of it, but that's okay. We can do ladders on this end, and I think I can do... No, I cannot do... Oh, because that thing is like a bellows that goes in and out. All right. Might not technically actually be a bellows. You get what I'm saying. Ladder, ladder, ladder. Let's make it do what it's... You are always in the way. Go somewhere else. All right, this can be kaboomed with no further problems. This is in place. It's not been assigned. Not been built. Why did I say assigned? It's looking all right. Pumping continues. That's all fine, all well and good. You know, get out of here. I probably could set this off if these beavers weren't running through it all the time. So... There we go. We know they can reach this because, obviously. Yeah, you know, maybe I should have built this up at the higher level, but it's a little bit late for that, isn't it? I don't think it really matters. It'll be alright. Come on, K for kaboom! Do I want to go ahead and commit to having another one of these here? Probably not. I will tell you what, I'm going to place it, and then I will pause the construction site, but I want to make sure that that's in there. The reason being, this is giving out 100 HP, which is half of what this needs, and this is also giving out 100 HP, which would be the other half. Until I get everything else connected, including to here, that won't really be something that is going to make any sense to keep. I am imagining the way that this is going to end up working. I cannot go underneath when I'm building tunnels. I cannot go underneath these geothermal things. So even though it's going to look kind of stupid, I am going to have this come up over the surface and just attach to something. Currently, this is set up. This does not have to stay here, but this is set up in such a way where this is working decently well enough. We will have to figure out some sort of other solution for that, but what I'm going to do here is just get this. Might as well blow this whole thing up because what else am I going to be doing here? This is going to connect to the side. This is still a vertical shaft, so what this is going to become instead, for the purposes of what we're doing on this level, This will have to become a vertical T intersection facing that way. And then we can have vertical shaft over here that will take it up and over other stuff. Where that's going, I can't tell you, but this will be very important for us to be able to actually get this thing hooked up correctly and then move on from there. Did we get this connected yet? I'm really impatient about this. I wanted this to be done before we had our next badtide. We're only on day 4, and we could be at day 16 before we even get an announcement, I think. So that may or may not happen in this episode. Just know that I do care about getting that taken care of. Dirt and waste rock being not picked up. Is the dirt storage full? The dirt storage is full. Dirt is a very useful thing to have. So here's what's going to happen. This is going to change to be holding dirt. And there is room for that to be removed and for dirt to go in there almost immediately. Do I have enough slop space in any of this to get one more? Probably not. I was informed that Peacock is closer to a bocce than it is a croquet, so fair enough. Don't know why I remember that at this exact moment in time, but I did. These are finished, which means that's done, which means I need to... That's the wrong button. Which means this needs to go in. I should really check my numbers of... Okay, I got 11. Good. Once again, for like the 18th time, we're going to automate this to Bad Gary. And what else? What else? What else? We're doing scrap metal harvesting here. That's fine. That was always supposed to be that way. I can't help but think I'm missing something. I really cannot help but think I'm missing something. I cannot tell you what it is. Why is this in a specific straight line? Oh, because these guys were able to get to it. Okay, well then why are they not? Oh, because these aren't marked. Why did I? Okay, you know I'm just gonna set that like it is there. Yeah, it's like we probably could use these brambles. We can use them to make all sorts of fun stuff over here. This is waiting on logs and planks. This one is waiting on not logs and planks. It's actually got most of what it needs. Okay, we've got 4, count them, 4 screw press axles. We are very low on sawdust, so we're 26% of the way in. This one's 55%, and this one's also probably going to go somewhere else at some point. Maybe not. Actually, I could have this just go straight across here. Truthfully, folks, did I just try to say folks instead of folks? I don't know. Man, it's been a long... How long I've been doing this? It's been a long past couple of time measurement units of your choice. Yeah, you know, I really... We'll come back to this, because I know we need to make more sawdust. Is this waiting on... Actually, it's just waiting on logs mostly. That's understandable. We need to plant more logs. That was one of the other things I was going to say that we should do, especially since this is clean now. These are all dead, and we have access here. Why don't we do this? Forester in the water with a ladder. Colonel Mustard in the conservatory with the lead pipe. Yeah, let's just plant these all over here. Once that forester is done planting, finished planting, it's not a biscuit. Oh, there's stairs! Praise be. Okay. I'm going to have somewhere to put a lumberjack's cabin. And that, to my knowledge, can also go partly underwater. Lumberjack's barn, wood felling planification. Yeah, that's going to go somewhere over here. Hopefully. I might even raise it up one level right in this exact spot. We have the power. We have the technology. All of my scaffolding is gone because I used it to make tunnels. No surprises there. We're getting close, though. Oh, I didn't use it to make tunnels. What am I doing with my scaffolding? Oh, I know what it is. It's all the scaffolding I placed. Okay, this is not... Yeah, the ladders probably did most of that. Okay, I know they're not going to be able to do anything with this for quite some time. Can I very carefully not... This is probably not a great use of resources to do this way, to be perfectly honest with you, but I'll get most of them back, so I don't care. Alright, they can build that, which means 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 they can build... Yes, you get the point. That's not the one I wanted to click on. Okay, that goes there. These are going to explode beavers if they touch them. We do, in fact, have some library books, which is good. That means we had paper made, which paper is always in short supply. I can make 5 of those every half hour. What a fantastic rate of production. And this consumes 5 every 1.3 hours, so that should be totally okay. We got some real frothy chestnut beer. What a great word, frothy. We got another one of these Beaver Destroyer 5000 relics over here if we want to do that. This is finished. Of course, the one on the far end was finished first. Why? Well, probably because I placed it first. This isn't too far behind. That is okay. Yeah, I know I said I was going to have tanks and all that. We talked about that. I don't need to go over that again. The ingredients for these, fortunately, are pretty easy to come by over here because we have water being pumped right next to this, and that's the biggest component of the recipes. We just need to have a warehouse for lotus flowers and a warehouse for brambles. And those, thankfully, are not going to be super hard to make happen over here. I cannot stack crappy platforms, but I can, on top of the crappy platforms, put one of these. I know we don't have any right now, but that's the way it goes. I'll put that there, and I'll put that there, and I'll put that there, and I'll put that there. That will help. Like I said, water is very close by, even if it has to go on a really stupid path and staircase journey to get there. What about... No, that's not going to be tenable. I was going to say I could just have one staircase, but I don't think it's going to take that much longer to just go up and back down. I'm not the one that has to climb the stairs, so guess what? Don't care. Alrighty, what else, what else, what else, what else? I feel like I've taken care of most of the things that I really needed to do. Some people said that I shouldn't worry about having storage for all this stuff right next to the mine because they have zip lines. That's a valid point. We have all of this space over here that we can use to build things. Of course, the forester requires logs to plant more trees to get more logs. Should have been absolutely no surprise that that was the case. This area here does not need to have metal fasteners anymore because we're not building anything else that uses it, so that can be removed. Save us a whole lot of beaver labor. Metal fastener storage is probably full, which it basically is. Well, over time that'll get emptied, and then I'll remember it in like 3 episodes, and then people say, hey, you should, you know, do something about that. And then I will do something about that. I keep forgetting. I need to address it, and I can't really do anything because I built stuff in front of it, but someone was saying that we could connect stuff to the 2nd floor of the library on this side, not the inside. And now I have a very academic curiosity about this. Let's see, for the benefit of everyone. You know, it doesn't seem like that's going to work. But it doesn't mean that it's not possible just because that one specific way I chose to do it did not work. That, however, does seem like it's one of those things that is just kind of not going to do anything. I was also informed, like I said, that the mini walkways do not grant the bonus. So, I can't put that there because I got the White Paw Gazette in the way. Well, guess what? That can go away. Instead, I will build something else that requires logs. Because of course it does. But this is going to give a nice bonus to a bunch of beavers working here, and the White Paw Gazette is not difficult to build. We just have to put it somewhere. Of course it is more logs. There's nothing going on right here, so guess what? It's going to go right there. I know this is not really a tremendously great spot for it, but it's fine. Alright, we got both of these going. There is no access because they do not have a ladder to get up there. And if I prioritize that, then they will have a ladder to get up there. It's just an issue of waiting for the scaffolding. Hey! We got these hooked up. That is a very good sign. There is water going swiftly through the holes to the outside. And now I have to check and see... Oh, you know what? I actually... No, it doesn't matter because it's all connected. Always sunny, red string, etc. Now I need to find out if I have the ability to put great storage houses here. Now I know we can do liquid storage house with a second story entrance if that is a problem, but I would prefer to have, again, something that uses uses logs. These guys are going to keep going in here. So we'll build this one because they're not, you know, clamoring to get into this thing. If they build this and it says the building is flooded and cannot be used, then we will not do it this way. But for the time being, I think we are okay to just give it a shot. It says it is not connected. It says there is no good selected. It does not say the building is flooded, and now it is working. Hip, hip, hooray. What do I want to put over here that will be useful for the beavers? Well, we're not growing pumpkins yet, but we will be at some point soon-ish. I'm not making enough berries for that to be relevant. I do have, technically, 5 exotic seeds. I'll need to make a storage for those. That is not this. Cereal bar. Wow, we really don't have a lot of cabbage storage. This is not a great place to put cabbage storage, so I should probably avoid that. This is also not a good place to put chestnut storage. Let's make this bramble flowers, because why not? But now that we know this is a thing, it is going to be that much easier for us to just say, here you go, and make a storage for, why not lotus flowers? We can always, you know, use more of those. This got built, that got built. They still don't have access to a path because, you know, I've made a lot of suboptimal choices in my lifetime, and this is certainly one of them, not clicking the pathway on the ladder itself. But now we have a tea lodge making spicy soda, and we have a tea lodge making lotus flower tea, and they have 600 storage for the outputs, so that's good. That is very, very helpful. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to not have them spend all of my... Alright, let's pause this, because I have to be very careful about how I select this. I'm going to have them not spend all of my very few precious platforms on putting in things that may disappear, so I'm going to leave the one that was already built and just remove these. And we will see if it is still there next episode. For the time being, this is totally adequate. That will work just fine. These are built. They are connected. We have storage, and in theory, this is now completely dry on the inside, and it is. There's just a bunch of stuff laying on the ground that is too far to get picked up because somebody got rid of the other way to get in. And now I just get to tell the beavers, hey, everybody's got to go down in the hole and get the stuff that's in the hole. And then they say, why do I have to go in the hole? And then I say, because I told you. So that is a very weird thing that I somehow decided was appropriate to say. We have Forester. Forester does not have ladder. So let's get that prioritized. Let's get the scaffolding. Again, it's scaffolding and the planks and all that other stuff. Let's get this built because I want to see how possible it's going to be to have this just be infinitely farmable. And I know the, yeah, what's the term? One of these buildings, they have 3 inhabitants, 4 workers. This can be upgraded. Maybe this would be a decent thing to, because I know we already have the zipline station here. Maybe this would be a decent opportunity to put in another one of those zipline tower upgrades, like we have with this. How is that configured with the thing again? Just so I don't do it wrong. Okay, so that has to be at the same... That'll be fine. That'll be totally fine. So now I'm thinking with portals. I've got a lot of logs and I don't have a lot of things, so I know these are objectively not good, but I'm going to put them here anyway. So you might be asking, why would you do this the way that you've already said you're going to do it and then forget what else you were going to say to make it not make any sense the way you have this set up. Well, truth be told, I don't know. And I think this is a sign that I need to stop this episode and let my brain rest. But if I were to put in, I guess, because I've already planted a tree there. Okay, let's think about this. Lumberjack's barn goes here. No, I'll move it one over. I just need to check range. That's the only thing I need to check. Okay, that has tons of range. Okay. Anyway, what I was going to say is, I don't even remember. All right, yeah, we got to end soon. My brain's turning to jello. But Lumberjack's barn here, upgradable. Move the forester to here after the first round of trees has been planted. I know I should have put it there in the first place. But then this can be upgraded. We can do anything we want to it. It may be possible because of how this is set up for me to just take this out and have this connect instead, which may make it slightly less advantageous to have the warehouse here. Or I could just leave it in place because it's already built. So, okay, all right. I desperately need to get this thing wrapped up and then figure out what I'm doing with my life. This can all just be marked for cutting. It doesn't matter. This should still be accessible. And, okay, that comes up to here. Let's just check this again. Yeah, that's fine. It'll all be plantable eventually anyway. This can be this same level. These are all dead, so it does not matter. There are scrap metal ruins in the way. They will not be there forever. That will be fine. We can get these. We already have pathway over here. Anyway, this should be essentially badtide proof because this is all clean water in here. This will not be drained forever. And if it does, then we don't care. That's working. Getting the stuff cleaned out of here is still ongoing, but the only thing I care about picking up is metal fasteners and dirt. The dirt storage is very full. Okay. I really probably should research the large industrial pile, but that also requires the scaffoldings that I technically have but don't want to use. So, I did it again. I could have just copy-pasted. I'm never going to end up doing that. Let's build these piles first so I can do something with my dirt. Why are you so intent on getting all the dirt? Well, remember, terrain blocks, 1 terrain block in this mod requires 1,000 dirt. Until you get to the end game and you have the somatic, whatever this thing's called, synthetic lyophilized dirt blocks that are apparently also communist. But if you didn't notice, there's no K in there. That's why. All right. What was I saying? Oh, we just need dirt. That's basically what it boils down to. Okay, it's day 12. We could in the next couple of days get a notice of drought or bad tide, but we have this looking fine. That's been hooked up. I don't think there's any really crazy huge problems we're going to have to deal with for a while. These berries now have the chance to grow this way. We removed most of this. This is no longer connected. This is waiting on... what else? It's waiting on planks. Well, I better hurry up and get to work, huh? Yeah, we just have to wait. It's 1 hour for 2 blocks. We probably need to have more of that coming in at some point. This is waiting on scaffolding. No surprise there. These guys have nothing to do. I believe... I've said this like 8 times, but I believe we're good for the time being. So, let's briefly summarize what we have done today. We've blocked these off and channelized them to exit here. We have blocked these off and channelized them to exit here. And we have blocked this off, channelized... well, we haven't blocked it off, it just goes in a hole. But that can channelize, and then this, once this floodgate dam is complete, will be able to automatically open when it's clean water and close when it's bad water, and then shove that off the side of the map. So, unless I have missed something very obvious, I think that's this area entirely protected from bad water. I honestly did not think that was going to be how that went. I'm impressed. We've managed to put together some very, very, very good stuff for our beavers. And we're still out of paper. Because sawdust? Yes. Okay, and this was the thing I said I wasn't going to turn back to sawdust because it was very important we have these screw press axles, but we have 8 of these now, and instead of changing this off, I'm going to put this not on... Which one is doing fast? One of these is doing fast. Or I don't have any of them doing fast? How in the world did I... Okay, you know what? Ah, badtide warning. Let's check. Let's check, because I've said this like 18 times, and I always forget what I've said. They are all... Ah, that one's on badwater, but they're all on slow mode. Okay, so that's not consuming the sawdust. I think it's probably just the paper, honestly, that is doing that. And it wants every hour 10 sawdust. And this can only make every hour 2. So, you know, we do need to have one of these making sawdust. Do I really... You know what? We have so many extra beavers. Why don't we just shut up and make more log gnawing stations? I don't need to make it any more complicated. I'm just picking a spot that I have room for. We'll start with 1. Set to sawdust. Of course, automated to sawdust low alert like it should have been this whole time. Set to minimum priority workplace, but again, we have so many extra beavers, I don't think it matters. And despite all of my population lowering methods that I put into place, we somehow now have more beavers. We have 309. It's only going to get worse. But, you know, we are... Why in the world is it counting this as closer than here? These are all dead. They can plant on top of that, no problem. I'm so very confused. Oh well. This is now very full. Set that to supply. Not that I really have a... Yeah, the badwater is in a tiny tank here. Maybe I should have a bigger badwater tank? I don't know, man. Okay, we need to end this episode because it's getting closer to 2 hours. And so I know some of you said you like that, but there are going to be a couple folks who come in and say, you know, I can't watch 2-hour videos. Stop making 2-hour videos. So I do try to keep as many people happy as I can with these. But I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your good ideas, your feedback, so on and so forth. And of course, the beard boosters who support the channel, make it so I can do stuff like playing this incredibly long, complicated mod, and now only making 2 of these videos a week, 2 of the Timberpunk 2 videos, and trying to get some other stuff mixed in. Taking a little bit of a risk to change the formula up, but again, those people, combined people and folks together, again, I'm very tired, but those folks make it possible for us to even do any of this at all, and I'm always going to be thankful for them, and I'm thankful for you too, even if you're not on that list. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back again in this series on Monday and tomorrow with the Timberpunk 2 playthrough. Take care. Bye-bye.